Welcome, this is John Hyman from Commercial Real Estate Online. This particular video is about a career in commercial property management and shopping centre management, the things that you need to look at and understand. There are 5 parts to this particular video and we'll cover each of them in reasonable depth, so there will be separate videos following this particular video number 1. And if you want to read the article relating to this, you can visit the website and check out the article, which is How to Start Your Career as a Commercial Property Manager. And in that particular article, I cover in detail the different aspects of commercial property management, the things to watch and absorb as you manage the property for your client. So that is the particular article, How to Start Your Career as a Commercial Property Manager. Let's now go into this particular program and indeed the first part, which is the landlord's requirements for each property. Now, given that you manage a property, or indeed a number of properties, you do need to understand the landlords that you serve. In saying that, they have particular requirements to work to. Every landlord will be different. They have different expectations when it comes to their asset. So taking that a bit further, let's look at these particular things. Number 1. The approval process. Many landlords want to approach the investment of their asset in a certain way, and they will have controls that they wish to apply to the management process. That will be in income and also expenditure. There will be approvals associated with the budgetary work, the lease documentation, and anything to do with the tenancy mix, the maintenance, the contractors, all of those things. So the approval process is quite specific. Each month you should be reporting to the client about the approvals that have been processed through the month, and that should be documented in the end of month report. So the approvals are quite important, quite specific. They are the landlord approval requirements for managing the asset. Don't do anything without the landlord's approval process being satisfied in each case. Let's go further. Within this category, the capital works in the property. Now, capital works are those larger things that relate to the overall property, the large machinery, the big maintenance works that cover the entire site. They are capital works programs. They're not really associated with day-to-day maintenance. They are the big items that need to be budgeted for and placed in the building budget throughout the year. Indeed, as you enter a new financial year, you should have a capital works budget supported by narrative, by detail, and approved by the landlord. Going further, the cash flow in an asset. Well, the cash flow will be income and expenditure. There will be a budget to support both of those things. The income stream will be supported from lease documentation, the leases that exist, the potential vacancies that could arise, and the vacancies that you have now. So that's the income stream. Of course, there's also a cash flow associated with expenditure, and the expenditure is impacted by capital works items, as I've just mentioned, and also the maintenance in the asset. So your cash flow will be managed to the landlord's requirements for the property. Understand the landlord, understand their cash flow requirements. At the end of each month, they need to pay for their financing of the property, and the cash flow you give them will be critical to that correct and important thing at the end of each month. Going a bit further, the expenditure in the asset. Well, the expenditure will be a number of things. There'll be rates and taxes, energy, electricity, water, gas, the maintenance of the day-to-day aspects within the property. There'll be a budget to support that. Make sure that you understand the expenditure, what the landlord has approved, what they expect, and how things will be approved. I go back to the earlier point that approvals are quite important when it comes to managing expenditure in the asset itself. Going a bit further and talking about income. The income in an asset will be the income stream by way of rentals. Now, there are different rents to think about. That is the gross rents, the effective rents, the face rents, the incentives that apply in the asset. The income stream is affected by vacancies in the asset, vacancies coming up, tenancies that could vacate, tenancies that are expanding or contracting, the tenancies that will change. That being said, the income stream needs to be totally understood as best possible before a financial year commences. So make sure that you have the income stream locked down to a plan, to a strategy, and that the landlord understands the income stream. You need to understand the tenants. The landlord needs to understand the income stream that you have identified as being real and realistic for the situation. Going further, every landlord will have an investment strategy. Now, an investment strategy will be impacted by the availability of properties in the location for leasing, also for occupancy, and maybe the availability of upcoming new developments. So the investment strategy for the landlord will shift and change based on the location, the property type, and the supply and demand for properties going into the future. So it's your job to understand those things: the supply, the demand, the investment strategy, the way in which people, businesses, business owners look at investment and occupancy in the location. And your landlord will have an investment strategy. Do they wish to hold the asset for a long time or a short time? That investment strategy should be understood. Going further, lease documentation. Now that will be leases and licenses predominantly. They support the cash flow for the asset. And of course, lease documentation will be for the tenants in occupancy today and those that are known to be coming into the property soon. The lease documentation needs to be managed, and as part of that, there will be critical dates to watch and administer over time. Understand the differences between leases and licenses. Understand each lease when it relates to the rental recoveries, the critical dates relating to the tenant and what they need to do in occupancy as part of their ongoing use of the property and the premises. Enforce the lease document in every way possible. Make sure you understand the covenants that apply to the lease document. Going a bit further, the value of the asset. That will change, of course, throughout the year based on evidence of other properties in the location selling and also achieving rentals. Now, the calculation of value will be driven by the replacement cost for a building of similar type in that location, also by the income stream, the rentals that are recovered, and the expenditure that's related as an outgoing from the property itself. So the value is established from the net income stream versus the capitalisation or yield that's expected in the location. So get to know the property type, get to know the location, understand the yields that are being achieved in similar properties in the same location, and then apply that to the landlord property that you're managing today. So they are the landlord's requirements for each property. They are quite special. You can expand on each of these particular things in many different ways. Understand them, understand your landlords, understand each particular property. Indeed, a good property manager will optimize these issues for the landlords that they serve. So going back to the beginning here, this is a video as part of a series, and this particular series is how to start a career in commercial property management and build on the skills required in the industry. As I said, this particular video was all about landlords' requirements for each property under management. You can check out the fuller article at the website. The fuller article is How to Start Your Career as a Commercial Property Manager. Check out the article and print it. It's available there for you now. It's in quite some detail relating to the aspects that should be considered when servicing landlords and their properties under management in retail, office and industrial property today. So my name's John Hyman. Thank you for listening to this particular video. There are other videos in this series and they will also be placed on our YouTube channel. This is John Hyman signing off for now. I'll catch you again very soon online.